Years from now, some of them may look back and ask themselves whether they've made the right choice, whether they've made the most of the opportunities they've been given. Together, we have the same mission. Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. But you have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never, ever, ever give up. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right. Nothing worth doing ever, ever, ever came easy. And the more righteous your fight, the more opposition that you will face. In your hearts are inscribed the values of service, sacrifice, and devotion. Now you must go forth into the world and turn your hopes and dreams into action. America has always been the land of dreams because America is a nation of true believers. When the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, they prayed. When the founders wrote the Declaration of Independence, they invoked our Creator 4 times. Because in America, we don't worship government, we worship God. It is why our currency proudly declares, "In God we trust." And it's why we proudly proclaim that we are one nation under God. The story of America is the story of an adventure that began with deep faith, big dreams, and humble beginnings. The next generation of American leaders never, ever give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit. Never quit. Never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you. Carry yourself with dignity and pride. Demand the best from yourself. The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward. And always have the courage to be yourself. America is better when people put their faith into action. Pray to God and follow His teachings. Today, each of you begins a new chapter as well. When your story goes from here, it will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. You will build a future where we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and to express the love that stirs your souls. As long as you have pride in your beliefs, courage in your convictions, and faith in God, then you will not fail. As long as America remains true to its values, loyal to its citizens, and devoted to its Creator, then our best days are yet to come. bless the class of 2017. May God bless you. And I just want to let you know that God blesses you. And I want to just say, you are special in every way. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm calling the angels down. I'm storming the gates of hell. Tell the devil he don't own my soul. I'm taking back what the enemy stole. I'm raising the battle cry. I'm holding the banner high with the power of the Holy Ghost. I'm taking back what the enemy stole. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Back to Light. I'm Light Warrior Patriot, and I have the lovely Jim O'Connor with me. And Jim, if you could just give a little bit of background, because I know that we did the pilot, but we didn't really go into how we met and all that. So we just wanted to put that out for you guys.
Well, I'm Bishop Jim O'Connor from the Underground Orthodox Church. It's good to see you again, Kat.
Good to see
Kat
you.
and I met through Mark and Dave's Respect show, and I was a guest. And we got a chance to talk and get to know each other. We've become fast friends. And I was privileged enough as a pastor to give her some advice because of some family issues. And
Which I'm grateful.
yeah, and it was a thrill for me to help someone. And that's how we met.
Absolutely. Well, I had spoken with one of my friends, and she's like, you need to speak with, Bishop Jim. And it just kept being in the back of my mind about it. And then when I was going through what I was going through, I was like, you know what does it hurt to just put it out there? And I wrote to you, and you responded immediately. We were on the phone that day, and you taught me the law of encroachment prayer. So that was very helpful. And I've shared that with so many people, and it's helping a lot. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. If you want to just go over a little bit about what that is, Jim, that would be great.
I'll be happy to, Kat. The law of encroachment is kind of an interesting prayer. If anybody's ever watched football, they know if the defense jumps offside, they get called for encroachment because they go somewhere where they're not allowed to go. And the demons try to go everywhere they can, and we are sovereign souls. So if they attack us in certain ways, we have the right to ask God to enforce the law of encroachment, which gets them out of us. And it's just before the courts of heaven, we ask God the Father to invoke the law of encroachment for us and to remove all spells, curses, hexes, evil operations, evil devices, evil diseases, parasites, and all that's evil from us. And we pray this in Jesus' name. And I've noticed that when I've said this prayer, had permission to say this prayer with others, that, I've noticed so far around about 50 miraculous cures after saying this prayer. So it's been a real gift from God that he inspires us to say this prayer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's helped a couple of people that were having night tremors. I myself, when I'm feeling like I'm getting an energy attack, I'll quickly say it, and all of a sudden I'm calmer. I'm always trying to put myself in a place where I'm at peace enough so I can help others. And sometimes when I'm helping others, we get attacked. Sorry. So it's just, I know it sounds like it's out there, but it's real, and it's what's happening to us. And I think that this is the time to talk about it, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and things are affecting people and they don't understand why. So if we can teach them how to recognize their energy, what's theirs, how to get rid of what doesn't serve them, and to know that they have a choice, I think that that is something that we're going to be able to do going forward with this platform, right? And then also with our Telegram group that we created.
Yeah, I love doing this, Kat, and you're absolutely right. And for those who think that we're just a little bit shy of a full load here, a brick or two, there's a passage in Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And one of the lacks of knowledge is that we are sovereign souls, and we have the right to protect our sovereignty. And the law of encroachment prayer does that. And that's one of the weapons we have. And evil is very subtle. But if you look around the world, you can't say evil doesn't exist in this world.
Well, that's what we were talking about backstage, right? We were saying how just look at the Super Bowls and our music and everything that we're allowing into our space. We're accepting it, and we're saying, yes, please give us more of that. And so that's what's showing up in the world. So that's why, Back to Light kind of formed itself, right? We're trying to teach people how to get back to themselves, how to get back to that light within, and to know that even though that this is popular or whatnot, you don't have to follow that trend. We can create our own trend, and we can create a trend of light. And that's what I'm excited about.
Oh, yeah. And when you think of the Super Bowl, a certain singer was at that Super Bowl, and she has quite a following. And they almost treat her like she's God. And when you treat a human being like they're God, you open up all sorts of portals into your soul that the demons can attack. And the last thing in the world they want to do is wake you up. They want you to be kind of asleep and totally absorbed into whatever it is that's going wrong, because that way they have you and you don't even know it. They're the experts at sneak attacks. And I'm not telling people to be paranoid, because just because you're paranoid doesn't mean someone isn't out to get you. But be alert. Your body, your mind, and your soul are very important. And there's good and evil in this world. And you might as well be aligned with the good in this world, because whoever you serve in this world, you get to live with in the next. Well, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So that leads me to how the name came about and all that. So like I said, like Jim said, we became fast friends, and that was so cool that he, in my time of need, he was like right there. So I had decided, Dave from News Treason had asked me to do a show, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Only because I've always done things like audio, right? I didn't want to do the camera, because I was just very self-conscious about what I look like. How do I sound, this, that. And it's just, I just saw what that community was doing to each other and ripping each other apart. And I didn't want to have any part of that. And then I still kept sitting with it. And I was like, well, I know this information is important to get out, and I can't let it be about me anymore. I need to just have it be and whatever. So then I also thought, well, Jim was such a structure for me while I was going through what I was going through. And I said, I would really like it if you'd do this with me. And he was like, absolutely. So I just thought that was really cool. And then we were trying to think about the name, right? What should it be? And one of the things that was kicked around was the Bishop and the Light. But then we were like, well, we don't want people to be turned off of the show just because of the name, because people, again, are mean. So they don't know anything about us, but they're going to make prejudgments, right? So I've always gotten like intuition or downloads and stuff like that. And I use books and also numbers a lot. And one of the things that just kept coming up was like things surrounding ocean type themes. And I said, okay. So I sat down with it and I just was like listening to myself, and I was just like, okay, well, what is this? So I put myself in front of the ocean and I say, okay, what do I see when I'm in front of the ocean? The first thing that popped into my head was waves. So being in this movement, right, I have come to we joke with our friends and we're like, to the Q drops, right? So that's what I did. I went to the drops and I was like, is there anything in here that I'm supposed to see? And this post came up. It was 4408, and it's all about enlightenment. Now, I have read the Q drops. I have never seen this one. I don't recall ever seeing this one. And it wasn't about awakening or everything that this movement kind of, it's about enlightenment. And it lit me up. And then I started reading it, and I'm like reading it. And I got to the end, and I'm going to read to you what it says at the end. And then it was like, that's it. That's everything that this show encompasses. This is everything that this is going to be about. And it was perfect. So at the end of Q drop 4408, enlightenment with the process of undertaking to think for oneself, to employ and rely on one's own intellectual capacities in determining what to believe and how to act. Is that not us, Jim?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Blown away with it.
Yeah, I'm a retired Army officer. I was a
Go ahead.
infantry officer and a paratrooper. So I have a real good idea what it's like to be a warrior. And being a warrior for light and a patriot is like the highest calling an American can have. And and I'm really proud that you took that name for you. My channel on Rumble is God Wins, because in the end, God is going to win. And so I just absolutely love the title. You are a warrior, and you can be male, you can be female, and still be a warrior, because a warrior is what's in your heart and your soul. Not necessarily, you don't have to bench 320. You have to be 320 on the inside.
Bench even 100.
Well, I'll be 72 next week, and I can still bench 320. I'm a West Point graduate. I graduated in 76, and I served for 20 years as an infantry officer and a paratrooper. So I know what warriors are like. And being a direct descendant of Charles Carroll, I love patriots. He signed the Declaration of Independence, Charles Carroll of Carrollton. So it's an honor to be with someone who understands the power of light, has a warrior's heart, and is patriotic. And that's how I see this, is that we're going to tell you the truth. We're not going to always be 100% right, but we're not going to be anywhere near 100% wrong. And we love God, we love our country, we love people, and we're going to try to be a force for good.
Always. You guys don't understand how many times we have tried to do recordings and it just blocks either my voice out or Jim's voice out or both of us out, or it glitches. So we're just going to leave this in and you're going to see what we do. We're going to figure it out.
If you want to learn more about being patriotic and the fight about good and evil, that this might be a real good place for you to learn and share information with us.
Yeah, and let us know what you might want to talk about, and we'll bring it forward and make a show about it if it's something that most people want to hear. We do have ideas that we're going to be talking about. I know that we're going to be about the importance of energy on our next show. And yeah, Well, I wanted to thank you very much for being with me, Jim, and everybody that's watching. So, and just real quick, if you could just let everybody know what your platform is and how to get in touch with you if they needed to.
I'm on Rumble under God Wins, WINS, because ultimately God will win. And just make a comment, and if you need some ministering, I'll be glad to do things. And I'll help each other out. You know, there are things in medicines that hurt people, like thimerosal. My buddy Tom and I were talking yesterday evening, and we were talking about when we got the vaccines, we would see the doctor take the serum out of the refrigerator. And, you know, the vaccines were only good for up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator, but they kept them refrigerated because they didn't load them up with preservatives. Well, the preservatives are thimerosal, which is a mercury and lead compound, formaldehyde, which if you've ever dissected a frog, you've taken it out of the formaldehyde, aluminum oxide, which, wow, you know, think about what aluminum does for the brain, autism, senility.
Yeah.
I don't even bake baked potatoes anymore, which is my favorite thing to have, baked potatoes. I just bake them in the oven without the aluminum because I don't want the aluminum in me. And doing little things like that have made me a lot healthier and a lot stronger and more alert. And remember from the Bible that Moses died at age 120. And he died at the end of walking for 40 years in the desert, eating what only God provided and drinking what God provided, good water and good food, and walking every day, or darn near every day. Imagine that, walking when you're 80, 90, over 100, over 110, and enjoying the walk. Moses did. He didn't have an HMO. He didn't have fluoride in his water. So there are things that we can do to help each other out so that we can be vibrant and healthy. You know, if 120 is how long. Yeah, if you're supposed to live to be 120, then when you're 70, you're really middle-aged, not old. And I plan on being the youngest 100-year-old that anybody ever saw. And we can do that by taking good care of ourselves, eating good organics without the horrible killer sprays they're starting to put on them. And the more we share the good knowledge, the better off we're all going to be.
Chemicals.
And one of the nicest things that's happened.
Yeah, I have multiple chemical sensitivities, and it's horrendous, and it's getting worse as I got older.
Yeah, that's a hard way to live, but you know, that's because we've been poisoned by medicines.
Yeah.
And I'm in a lawsuit against the companies that made Zantac. I had to take Zantac after the Gulf War shots that made me sick and destroyed part of my digestive system. And the Zantac in the early 90s had the cancer virus in it. And that's how I got my cancer, from medicine. Now, the doctors didn't know they were poisoning me with the cancer virus. The drug companies knew. And they were counting on me being a patient for life. And when I ran out of money, I'd die. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not a healthcare model. That's a sick care model. And then you look at people like the Amish, who are thin, strong, and healthy, live a long time. They live pretty much off the grid.
Yeah.
And they're a heck of a lot happier and a heck of a lot healthier. They don't have allergies. They don't get cancer. Maybe they're doing something right. They're living a lot more like Moses than we are. And I think the more we live like Moses, the healthier and happier and the better service to God and country and family that we're going to do. So we hope to share knowledge, learn from you, learn from our research.
Sure how much that we got.
And, you know, and help make the world better.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I think is very important that the churches will never teach you.
And you definitely are doing that. You're definitely making the world better.
But before we call it a broadcast today, I'd like to plant a thought in everybody's mind. We all have the capability, by doing something kind or thoughtful or loving, to put a smile on God the Father's face. And we can all do that every day. Now, the churches won't teach you that, but every act of kindness, generosity, and goodwill makes God, our Creator, happier. And we as human beings can do that. And it's not about throwing money in the till. It's about having a good heart and sharing love with others. Brotherly love, family love. Love is a wonderful, wonderful source of energy, light, and power. And we, as human beings, can increase the happiness in heaven by just being good. And I think that's a wonderful thing to do. Now, if everybody did a little bit of that every day, this would be such a nicer world. And that's what we should be all shooting for. And it all starts with each one of us.
Let me just say this. So how you were saying, you know, just to share simple things, right? So I used to always say, just share a smile. Right? A simple smile is free, and it can go and just be like that butterfly ripple effect, because now that person's going to be nice to the next person that they see, hold the door open for somebody, and you just never know that chain reaction that you're going to have just by being nice and smiling at somebody, or even saying, have a nice day. Because that's
Absolutely.
What's so lost. We've lost community, we've lost connection, and we need to get back to that. And that's part of bringing the light back into our lives.
Absolutely right. And well said, and that's beautiful.
Well, that's it for today. But thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful space and energy. And we shall see you soon. And what are we going to be talking about next time, Jim? We're going to be talking about how energy affects us and the importance of knowing what's yours and how to get rid of something that doesn't serve you. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like